Good evening, sir.
Hi, dearest. How are you?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you?
Boy, I'm good. I'm being good. I'm only anticipating tonight's class. It's going to be. I don't know. I don't know what to say, but I think I want to take a back seat somewhat and just allow people to, EPAs, allow people to debate, and then I'll come in and talk about some stuff. We're going to talk about creationism. It's always an interesting debate. I know when I was going to school, it was a very interesting debate. So I am here. I am here. I don't even know what to say, Asia. I'm just here with expectant hope that, you know, we can get some very good conversation. So let's see, pretty much because yeah, I was. Um, just a question. What class do you have before this on a Monday?
Intro to HRM.
Like it normally over dismisses late.
Sometimes, sir, a little over 7 o'clock.
No, well, need to let your lecturer know that you have a class at 7. So um, we're each given 2 hours, so we need to let lecturers know. Yeah, but time management is important because I give you a little 15 minutes break so that you can have at my expense, so that you can have a little breather between classes, bathroom and a snack or just to take a little walk. All right, so my system again is not allowing me to share sound. Isha asked me earlier, sir, how are you? And I said, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Just a little excited about class tonight. I am going to be, you know what? Let me not say anything more. All right, so Asia, do me a favor, or whoever is in the class can share for me. Uh,
Sir, I can share tonight. I'm on my phone tonight.
you on the phone tonight?
Yes, sir.
That's not nice. All right, who? Paz, anybody in the class can share for me and share sound?
Sure, sir.
Great, thanks. All right, so hold on. Oh Lord, help me.
You sharing the video that was up?
Yeah, were you able to see it? I'm actually trying to.
Is creationism and what?
No, I just put in creation here, but there's one in particular that I found. There are so many. There's a replete number of those videos on, but I found one that brings it a little close to me or for me. Uh, so I would just like to. Oh, somebody sent something today. I didn't even see this. Structure of the Earth. Who is this person?
Michael James.
Oh, okay, Mikey. Thank you. Yeah, this is so correct. You'll see more of this in the stuff. Yeah, yeah. All right. I just dropped something in the group. See if you could share that for me, please. Pause.
Which one is it, sir?
I just dropped something in the group a while ago. Look in the YouTube, in our no,
Okay.
YouTube, WhatsApp. All right. You know what I'm going to ask you to do? Not right now. So when you look into the group, you see me as Mark S. I'm looking in the group and I'm not seeing. If I look at the numbers, I don't know who it is that I'm talking to. So even for this class, because there are times I want to speak to one or two of you, and I don't know who it is. So I don't know if it is that, for the purpose of this group, for this class, if you could just put something there, maybe not a full name, but something that I can at least identify you. Please and thanks. It would be very nice. All right, Paz, are you able to share, Papa?
Yes, sir. Gonna share now.
Thank you, sir. And thanks, Mikey. You keep us by past years. You keep us on our toes, by sharing one of these two little videos. Very good. Hope the others will do the same and at least look at the ones that you share. All right, there you go. top one. All right, guys. Now, before you click play, pause. I really want us to have an open mind. Um, I didn't, and I will share my views afterwards. I don't want to prejudice. That's the word. I don't want to prejudice anybody's view. And hear me out. The type of person that I am is not one that is judgmental. So if you don't like ackee, it's not a problem. It's just that it's more ackee for me to eat. If you don't eat pork, it's not a problem. It's just that you have more for me to eat. If you go to carnival, it's not a problem to me. I just know that I'm not going, right? So to each his own, and I'm not one who is going to be condemning anybody. So for the purpose of tonight's class, I really want us to have an open conversation. I want people just to let me know how you feel. I won't look at you differently. None of us will look at you differently. It's just for us to have an open conversation and on the matter, because we don't know if it is that we're going to be asked, to write on anything of this nature. So, Paz, with that said, can you go ahead for me, Papa? Please and thanks. Having difficulties?
What do Catholics say? Our ancestors monkeys were torn with their colored legends.
Hi, I'm Libby.
And I'm Kai. Welcome to Catholic Central.
Today we will explore what the Catholic Church has to say about the debate between the Bible and evolution. Spoiler alert, for Catholics, there's another way.
But first, what is this fight all about?
Well, in one camp, we have the evolutionists and the theory of natural selection.
Charles Darwin came up with this theory in 1859, which states that life started as a primordial soup and evolved.
The strongest of the species, meaning the ones that could best adapt to their environment, survived.
From this perspective, everything could be chalked up to random chance, and God could be considered unnecessary.
Nothing became something, and out of its substances came to life.
And at some point, we became self-aware and weeded out the weaklings until arriving at the nearly perfect specimen you see before you today. Specimens, sorry.
In the other camp, we have the creationists.
They believe that the creation story in the Bible was written like an eyewitness report.
So one day of light, one day of oceans, one day of plants, animals, and bam, here we are, a mere 6,000 years later.
So you may be wondering, okay then, option number 3, Catholics say what?
Well, to answer that, we really need to dive into how the church views science.
Now you might be tempted to roll your eyes and think that the words Catholic and science should only go together in a sentence along with the words superstition, anathema, and excommunication.
But actually, Catholics aren't at all scared, distrustful, or willfully ignorant of science.
They love it so much that many of them have dedicated their lives to studying it. A Holy Cross priest, Julius Newland, developed a synthetic rubber that revolutionized the industry. Pasteurization and genetics both came from Catholics, Louis Pasteur and Father Gregor Mendel.
Not to mention another priest, Georges Lemaitre, who came up with the Big Bang Theory,
The actual theory, not the show.
which is still the leading explanation of how the universe began.
Catholics don't see science and faith as conflicting. You don't have to choose which camp to live in.
You can believe in evolution and also in the creator of an ordered universe where beings evolved according to a higher purpose.
Which, let's be honest, is actually helpful, since science is a little lacking in the where everything came from in the first place, and why is it here now, and where is it going department.
And because Catholics believe God created the universe with order, for them all truth comes from God. So we understand more about God when we discover more about the truths of the universe through science.
Science can bring us closer to God. It gives us a greater admiration for his greatness when we see his works.
And you know what else doesn't conflict with science? The Bible.
Breaking news. Scientific evidence has been found that suggests that our cells are actually made up of tiny dust particles, proving that man's creation from dust in the book of Genesis is true. Ha ha!
No, I mean they're compatible when you see the creation story as figurative, not literal, as words and images that point to truth.
Especially when you consider that the Bible is full of poetic language, which means something different in Hebrew. Libby, this is not the time for yoga.
No, that's the word in Hebrew for day. Like Yom Kippur, it could mean anything from a 24-hour day to an entire era.
Oh, right. So, when the Bible says God created the earth in 6 days, it could mean a series of epochs.
What's most important is how Genesis shows us God's relationship with creation and ultimately with humanity.
Science is the observation of the physical world,
So it can't definitively say that God had no hand in creation,
and it can't tell us why anything happens either.
or whether it should.
Catholics say that observation reveals to us who God is and how he works. Speaking of dinosaurs,
Who's speaking of dinosaurs?
now that you mention it, yesterday I discovered a team that's actually researching how to bring back woolly mammoths.
Wait, really?
Yeah. I'm gonna do a Kickstarter to open a theme park and call it Mammoth Land. Think of Jurassic Park, only friendlier and with more fur. And with smoothies and musical numbers. It's the magic of science.
Science is not magic, and you know what happened in Jurassic Park.
Come on, they're way less likely to eat people than dinosaurs are.
My point is that you need to consider where breakthroughs fall in the natural order of things. So Genesis...
Which, how accurate can it be if it doesn't even mention dinosaurs once? I mean, including a picture would be pretty cool.
You're proving my point. Genesis is not meant to be a science textbook. There's a lot of stuff in the physical world that's not mentioned in it, but there are truths about our relationship with God.
Pope, quote, as Pope Benedict said when he was still Cardinal Ratzinger, the biblical story of the dust of the earth and the breath of God does not in fact explain how human persons come to be, but rather it tells us what they are. And when in Genesis God declares everything to be good, we know that the universe wasn't an accident or a mistake, but something beautiful and intentional.
And made out of love, including the human species, which stars in the story of Adam and Eve and their bad life choices.
Even though they messed up, they were created in the image of God, with freedom, intelligence, creativity, the ability to consciously choose love, and to choose truth, beauty, and goodness.
Or choose to be defiant, selfish, and defensive, a proud tradition humans continue to uphold today.
Which is kind of awesome.
Wait, you like when people are defiant, selfish, and defensive?
No. What I mean is, because even though Adam and Eve abuse what God gives them, they do it with their free will, which sets the stage for what Jesus needed to save us from.
The creation story in the Bible makes the most sense as a framework to the supernatural love and peace that Christ comes to offer the world.
Science and religion go together because the God who created evolution as part of the natural order is the same God who inspired the writing of Genesis. God is the God of scientific truth and the God of sacred truth. These truths complement each other and don't contradict. God is God of all.
And God keeps both scientists and theologians busy. He's always active in showing us his creative love, from the galaxies and stars down to the daily life. lives of every one of us.
The process of creation has never ended. Ever since the Big Bang, God hasn't stopped shaping the universe.
We can see God at work every day if we look for him. He gives us a world of wonder and the gift of nature to admire. And like Adam and Eve with the garden, it's up to us to protect the earth.
Or destroy it.
On that note, let's use our free will to end this episode. I'm Libby.
And I'm Kai. This is Catholic Central. Until next time,
You stay classy, Catholic Central.
All right, thanks, Baz. Comments. Comments before I ask questions. Comments. None?
Sir, it's an interesting video, I must say, and supported by myself, being a practicing Catholic.
Okay, all right. As let me just put the disclaimer out there. I am not here to offend anyone. I know what it did to me when I was studying this, and at some point in time I just thought to myself, say nothing more. Got a very good grade for the exam because I just belched back what they wanted me to hear. Don't think it did much for me because I wasn't able to process the information. Let me just put something out there. Why?
Sir, you're gone.
Yes, sir, we're not hearing you.
Getting these private messages because people don't want to verbalize.
Phone call a while ago.
Huh?
We weren't hearing you a while
Yeah,
ago.
a while ago, yeah.
Oh, okay. No. I had stopped talking because I was reading the messages. I've been getting some direct messages, so I was reading them, so I wasn't talking. So I'm just saying to you that I'm seeing some private messages, and I can understand why people, would want to say something like that. But let me just say something though. Catholicism, it's a mother of all churches. All of the other churches were derived out of Catholicism. So which is why they are making specific reference to Catholic. So you won't hear they talk about the Seventh-day Adventist, the Pentecostal, the Presbyterian, etc., right? So out of Catholicism, the other denominations were derived, the breakaway of, and other denominations were formed. Am I okay in making that broad statement?
But it's the truth.
No, it is a truth. It is a truth, but I just want to make that out there because people are going to say, then sir, why Catholics? Right? So it's not the Church of God, everything, all the religions that we share just now are offshoots of the Catholic Church. All right? So putting that out there, which is why they're talking about Catholicism in that regard. So that is one claim that is out. It's not a myth. It is just a fact that I'm putting out there. So I'm seeing some messages. You can't be asking me that, Asia, because that's a question I'm going to be asking the class. You remember last week I was hinting at it. A lot of these scientists are atheists. A lot of these scientists are atheists because some of them, for argument's sake, would have been brought up into the Catholic Church. serving as altar boys and, serving higher up in the Catholic Church, but, going to school and becoming physicists and cosmologists and geologists and, chemists, and they start, looking now at evolution, they start to disbelieve. And scripture for me says a double-minded man will be unstable in all his ways. So maybe those persons were not too convinced from an early age about the creation story. And or is it that they believed in the creation story, but the scientific evidence overpower what it is that they would have read in a Bible to say, no, the creation story is foolishness, evolution is what is going to be taking this thing to fruition, and evolution is what we say. All right, but I am not here to bring my beliefs, to put my beliefs on you all. But one of the things I will say up front is the Bible is consistent. So you won't have one section of the Bible that is going to be speaking about something, but another section speaks about something else that you may believe in. So you can't believe, the Bible does not give you half truths, so to speak. It's either going to believe in it or you're not going to believe in it. You can't have one foot in, one foot out. The Bible speaks about you being double-minded, you're going to be unstable. So if there are other aspects of the Bible that one may believe in, you can't not believe the creation story. Genesis speaks about Father God creating, this place that you and I occupy in 6 days, right? And the seventh day, he rested, and he pretty much, when he did the first set of creation, said, boy, after doing all of this, who is going to enjoy it? I need man. Adam was created. And he said, but Adam can't be by himself. Adam have to get a helper. And females, I don't want you to think that I'm being sexist. No. And if you read the Bible, it speaks about the virtuous woman in Proverbs chapter 31. And it did make mention that the woman is the helper of the man. Not literally going to be the helper, but this is how God's creation brought it across. And Eve was created, as an offshoot of Adam. He was put into a deep sleep. One of his ribs was taken, and Father God, in his wisdom and in God being who God is, created Eve as an offshoot of Adam. And there came our mother, father of all times, Adam and Eve, but they disobeyed. And I'm not going to say it is Eve that caused Adam to sin. Adam also got an instruction, and he should have said, here the plan. Sister, relax yourself. All right? So it's not good for me to say, no, I'm not cheating for doing it, man. No. All right? So both are guilty. And that is the birth of sin. And you can go ahead and read the rest of the creation story. It's a beautiful story. I mean, it puzzles my mind how it is that God in his goodness and his greatness can just say, I'm going to be breathing life into the universe. And fast forward to reading of different stories in the Bible where he was called to raise the dead, to heal the sick, and him just say, here the plan. Who just touched the hem of my garment? And everybody was just afraid, and the woman with the issue of blood say, me want help. I have been bleeding for my life, and I want deliverance. And Father God said, hear the plan. Your faith alone has healed you. You're good. And it dry up. And there are so many other situations, you know, the man at the gate of beautiful, the man with the leopard, you know, I mean, I can go through. I have not read the Bible from cover to cover, but I have been Christian long enough in order to be able to be convinced of the creation story. So I say all of this to you that if you believe one aspect of the Bible, you will end up having to believe all aspects. You can't just believe. You know, it's like sin. Some people will say, and I don't want to be controversial, so let me not even touch on that. Okay, so some people say, man for have enough gal and gal in a bungle. Because when Mikey have 6, 7 women run after him, people them say, yeah, Mikey the boss. Mikey the real boss. But Mikey never look on pause and say, Brethren, you too lie, man. They think me never know say XYZ, you too lie, man, and Mikey will banish. Pause. And say the plan. No man, him lie, man, if he get punished. But Mikey don't recognize that he too is sinning. And what we do as humans, not only Jamaicans, but as humans, is that we categorize sin. So one sin is bigger than the other, and this sin is an unforgivable sin. So because this is an unforgivable sin, it's supposed to dead. But you don't recognize that you committing that murder, that you are also sinning. All right? So so it is we are so confused with how we view life and how we view a lot of things that we will say to ourselves that this is right, but what it is that you're doing is wrong. One of the things that I'm going somewhere, so bear on with me. One of the things that I'm a little concerned about, some people say, oh no, you're not supposed to have KFC. That is way too much grease on you, and it's not good for your health, and it's clogging your arteries and so forth and so on. And I was like, yeah, all right, thanks. And I'm saying, but some of those who are saying to me not supposed to eat KFC are the same ones who are smoking, are the same ones who are drinking a beer or 2 or 3. And I want to say to you also that you drinking a beer and smoking is also not right. And I remember in my earlier years at the college, if students wanted to find out who is this person, they just say the teacher that always walks with a Pepsi bottle. You'd never see me without a Pepsi bottle. If I don't feel complete walking with a Pepsi bottle in my hand. And I remember having 2 students, twin sisters. I call them my daughter. Oh Lord, I just have a love for my students, so that's another story. And I remember I was in a class, I was teaching them chemistry, and I was in the lab, and I said to them, Sim, come here. Can I go downstairs and get me a bottle of Pepsi? And she said, sure. And she went, and I gave her the money, and she went, and she came back up with a bottle of water. Now the whole class was laughing. Of course, I was mad. And I looked at her and I said, I asked her for a bottle. She said, yes, I heard you. And you're going to be drinking the water. And I got if you cut me, man, Pepsi ice cube drop out of me, the way I vex. And the whole class was behind it because they're saying that I had way too much Pepsi on a daily basis. And me make the bottle of water stay right on the ledge. Oh, drink it. Me not drink it. I put Pepsi I want. And I was mad at her. I was very mad at her. And then, I looked into it and I said, she's right. She's right. She's right. I said, she's right. And I opened it and I had my water. And I remember that very Easter, coming up to Lent, I said to myself, what are you going to be giving up? And this is many years ago. What are you going to be giving up? And I said, Lord, I'm going to try the Pepsi. And I said, no, let me try something else. So I know me not really, I'll go miss. And Father God said to me, no, it's a bottle of Pepsi. And trust me, those 40 days have turned out to be maybe about 15 years now that I've not had a bottle of Pepsi because I just gave it up. Now, why am I saying all of this? I'm saying this because of the belief. And then one of my past vice principals, may her soul rest in peace, when I was telling her what the student did to me, she said, my mother is 99, and every morning what she has is a hot bottle of Pepsi for her tea. And the last thing she has at night is a hot bottle of Pepsi. So to each his own, this is the point I'm making. Some people are saying that it is bad for you, but here is somebody who lived to 99 years old, who for many years drinks a bottle of Pepsi, hot Pepsi, she don't want it cold, a hot bottle of Pepsi in the morning and a hot bottle of Pepsi at night. But now people are saying, don't do it because it's not good for you. So to each his own. And she's also was also Christian. So somebody said, don't do this one, somebody said that. Okay, so let's fast forward now. So people are saying the Bible in particular did not make mention of any dinosaurs. Anybody ever read the Bible and talk about dinosaurs? You hear them talk about dinosaurs? Talk to me.
No, sir.
No. Okay, me never hear them talk about. But what did the Bible talk about? It starts with C.
Creatures, creation.
Creatures, yeah, creatures. So is a dinosaur a creature?
Yes, sir.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So these persons who don't believe in the creation story are saying that, but the Bible don't talk about dinosaurs, but the Bible did speak about creatures. So what is it that they want the Bible to do? To name out every something? I mean, there are gazillion creatures around. Some of them we don't even meet yet because when we and I will never ever meet them in real life because they are not fossilized, because we know that this mass extinction that took place, they are fossilized. So some creatures, some fossils have still not yet been identified, right? So when it speaks of creatures, trust me, in my humble view, the dinosaurs them would be part of it. And go ahead, please, sir.
Yeah, but if you should examine the scripture in the beginning, all right. So dinosaurs are reptiles, and in the beginning, Eve was tempted by a reptile. So even then, you can see that without any specific name of creatures that were created,
Absolutely.
we heard of a snake, which is a reptile. So we can use that to say that, hey, them did about them time there.
Absolutely. And that's my thing, because you see, all of these things are we creatures?
Yes, sir. But at the same time, sir, I think it's not factual because I think I would be more on the side of wanting the Bible to be more specific in terms of like if there were dinosaurs or not. Because at the end of the day, I just think that even though we speak on like the Bible mentioning creatures, we don't know for certain if they actually existed. We can only just categorize it as being a creature based off of what the Bible says.
Okay, fair enough. But tell me the importance of the Bible naming out all the creatures.
It would just give you like a more certainty that it was there.
Okay.
But other than that, like we're guessing like, or because it just say creatures, then we can say that dinosaurs actually existed when really and truly we don't know. We only can just say that it is there, but how do we actually know when there was no actual evidence mentioned in the Bible that it was there?
All right, let me answer your question, please. And guess what? I don't want. It's a conversation we're having, right? Because I am here. I can't tell you what is right from what is wrong. It's just a conversation. So we're putting our 2 cents together. And this is an educated conversation. It's not one where the man in the corner will say, you know how the man in the corner talk. This is an educated conversation. So let me ask you something, Paz. I hear you. But did the Bible speak of naming out all the different races that we would have?
Oh no, not that I know, sir.
But why would that? But why wouldn't the Bible talk about that? That we have Jamaicans versus Indians versus Americans. Is that important?
No, it's not. But you can evidently see that there are different races.
Okay. So is there any proof that we had dinosaurs lived?
Based off of the fossils, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But as I've said, I don't think, being that there is none existing right now, you can only assume that they existed.
All right. Let me answer another question. Jesus, it just went. Hold on. Oh crap. It just went. You said something and something came to mind and I wanted to ask you about it. But anyhow, so I hear you. But do you believe that you can have any new island popping up at this point in time when they think that everybody would know all the islands globally?
Yeah, certainly.
How so?
Based off of how the structure of how the formations happen back in time.
Okay.
There can be new islands popping up.
So my question to you just came back. Do you believe that God is a God of science? That he created science?
Well, I would say yes, because he gave us the knowledge.
And that is it. So if God is a creator of the universe, and I strongly believe that, if God is a creator of the universe, how can then man, who God gave knowledge to, come and tell God, say, and not so? Put it this way. Let me put it in layman terms. You invent something. This is your invention. You invent it because you wanted to do this for your specific purpose. It has worked for you. And then Asia come and say, has invented something incorrectly. How would she know that you invented the thing incorrectly after it's your invention? It's not that she's developing it, or building on it. She's going to say to you that you did it incorrectly when it is your idea. And what happens? A lot of things, new creations that are taking place, are knockoffs from something else. So somebody will come up with an idea of whatever it is. Whatever it is, you can't think of anything. And then somebody may say, oh, but yeah, that's true, that makes sense, but I can develop it a little bit more. Case in point, like a camera. When the cameras came out and I had a 3.1 megapixel, I mean, everybody ran to me. When any pictures are to be taken at church, I made them run to you. Did you carry a camera? I said, yes, I do. I know I'm supposed to carry my camera anytime I'm going to church. Any day of the week, I'm going to church. Walk with your camera because there's always a Kodak moment. And they know I have a 3.1 megapixel. Okay, two tools, 5 point odd megapixel came out. Nobody wanted to use my camera again. And I mean, to this day, I still have I want to see the camera to know one little something. To this day, I still have it, right? And that could have been one of the first digital cameras that ever came out. Then they had a 5 point something megapixel that came out. I think it was 5.1 megapixel came out. And then I was pushed to the side. Nobody wanted to use my thing unless something got wrong and the person who had a 5.1 never turned up. And then I said to myself, okay, nobody wants me anymore. And then I went to one of them duty-free places in Ochi and I saw a 10.1 megapixel and I said, wow, this looks good. Me never go there for go buy it, you know. But we said, no man, this look nice. And when I look at it, I said, wow, the image is clear. I said, sell me. I go on, I say, all right, when I did dash more, I want to go on. So we took up my camera and started and said, wow, what megapixel? I said 10.1. Everybody started using my 10.1. And then I couldn't keep up because the cellular phones came out now that actually took better pictures than the 10.1. So chances are you may not even find somebody who owns a digital camera anymore. You know what them do? Them just invest all of that in a good cellular phone where it is that they can use the filters and all the works and, you know, make the collage and so forth and so on. So hardly, I believe in my view, anybody has a digital camera. I mean, I don't have a digital camera anymore. Right? So that's what I'm basing it from. What's the point? So I came up with a 3.1 megapixel. You decide now, say, this technology works, but guess what? If only he had done this, he could have get a 5.1 out of it instead of using a 3.1. So I go and develop it, and then somebody come out and say, but, you know, if he use a longer strip, you know, or this or that, he could get a 10.1, and then somebody come out and say, hey, here's the plan. Nobody wants to work with a cellular phone and a camera because why would us don't merge everything to one? And then this is how you have the evolution of these technologies going and going and going and going and going and going and going. In all of this, in my humble view, God is the one who gave the knowledge. And then now, because God has given so much and, you know, people absorb and people, you know, collaborate and extend their knowledge and share ideas, support and so on. Now they believe that they are bigger than this God. In my view, I don't know about the rest of you. So I want to hear somebody talk to me about now this business about the evolution story. Do you think that we were evolved or do you think that we were created? Somebody talk to me.
All right, sir. Let I first state that from the creation story, where it says that land was created before water, or no, what is needed to sustain living organism was created after the organism were created. So in such a view, you could see that as a form of evolution, because if the organisms were created before what is needed to sustain them, then it could simply mean that out of that harsh condition, these organisms had to change so that they would be able to survive. So that is one kind of variation to the whole creation evolution paradigm.
Okay, true. Got you. I can see your line of argument. Anybody else? Guys, it's a conversation that we need to have in us. So come, let us talk about it, please. Hello, somebody.
Another observation in terms of evolution. It has been documented that there are evidence of a great flood. And from that great flood, again, you would have the conditions for living organism to live would have not been there at that present time. Thus, for adaptation to happen, you would have to have organism now changing how they process things, how they feed, how they traverse. So you might have them going into a stage where they have to develop systems where they stay in water until that water has been receded. Then you have them going back onto land. So you have a movement between organisms from one state to another, which justify the whole concept of evolution.
Yeah, true. Anybody else? And I make you alone in the class and I want to talk to me, guys. It's a conversation. Come, we could talk and see if we can bring this into life. And I'm coming back to this after today, Is for the last, from last week, Monday, we're supposed to be doing this. And we keep putting it up because the conversations continue to extend itself beyond this. So talk to me. Didn't some dinosaurs evolve into birds? Do you think they evolved into birds, or do you think that they were created as flying creatures also? Because in my view, they were created as flying creatures. So I don't think that they were evolved. Let me just pause and say something here before you come back, Asia, or try to clarify. So I remember some years ago, my childhood home, I came back to it, and I was doing some fix-ups and clean up, and of course you had people living there, and I said, no man, I don't like the idea of how it looks. So I decided to come back and do some cleaning up, and I remember seeing the skeletal remain of a chicken, and I was like, so hold on there. So when this chicken was decomposing on your son, nobody smell it for come take it out and throw it out. I said, this is not good. And lo and behold, I looked at one end of the property and saw one chicken. Now, when I walked down to see where him come from, because him couldn't walk through the gate on either side, I said, no man, I walk on. So that fowl there, get up and fly like one bird. When I talk about him struggling for going on, he mastered the art and flew. The wall at the back is very high, and that fowl fly like a bird. And people say, but sir, he's a bird. They are meant to fly. So my question to you, Asia, what proof do you have or don't have to suggest that when these dinosaurs were created, that some of them were created to fly? Seti can answer that, Mummy, or anybody else.
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Not the same. So Asia asked a while ago, didn't some dinosaurs evolve into birds? And I don't want to bring across my personal view on the matter, because in a situation like this, I am biased. I'm going to put it out there. As Christian, I'm going to be biased. So the word evolve, I have a serious issue with that. Unless otherwise, not even man can tell me now, Father God to come to me and whisper in my ears and say, my son, yeah, I swear it go. But for now, I'm convinced with those 66 books. You understand? So she was asking if some dinosaurs weren't evolved into birds, and I'm asking her the question, how do you know that when these were created, some of them were not created as birds in the first place?
So when I say created as birds, you mean having the ability to fly?
Absolutely.
Sir, I know based on science books you have the pterodactyl that was able to fly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think over time, because you're hearing two different theories, you're hearing about the Christian version and you're hearing about the scientific version. I think
Mm-hmm.
some of the info it kind of all over the place. So
Mm-hmm.
eventually I got mixed up because um science tells about dinosaurs being extinct. And
Mm-hmm.
then Michael came up with the story about Noah in on the ark and great flood. So
Mm-hmm.
I say, oh, maybe the great flood is because of um most of the animals dying.
Mm-hmm.
So sir,
But,
since I said
but remember, do you know? But remember, do you know? Remember, the animals went into the ark two by two, male and female.
the appears, yes sir, that's what
Right.
I was wondering if we find evidence of dinosaurs, were there dinosaurs on the ark and if they
And then
were, how would that
And then
appear?
Paz is going to say to us now that the Bible did not tell us that two donkey, two ass, two cow, two ant, two lizard. You see, because it never specify. It just say we're going, and then now we would just assume that two donkeys and two cow. We just assume that these are they that went in, but we don't know if because they went in pairs, and I can understand and that for me again now, takes me into another way of thinking that I'm not going to talk about because I'm not here to offend anybody. When it speaks about taking it into pairs, a male and a female, you can know where I'm going with that. So it for me that's where my level of thinking is going. So who to tell? Nobody knows if the dinosaurs were not inside those stuff. Put it this way. You talk about evolved, Asia. How do I say it, Lord? I would see. Just by my tongue a while ago. I wonder if I should be saying it, but anyway, I have seen a video of an individual, a human, who said that some 15 years ago they did some sex exchange from male to female and have been living as a female for 15 years and now recognize that what they did is wrong, whatever, and want to reverse the process and has reversed the process and is now living as male again. It comes back to the point I'm making, Asia, that God has given us so much wisdom, and science in itself has evolved. The technology has evolved. And he has given man that much wisdom that they are able to say, okay, fine, boom, you can do that. One of the things that I've not heard yet is for a male to convert to a female and then able to reproduce. I'm yet to see that happen. And guess what? I don't think we're going to see it in our lifetime. Because it's like me buying you a new car, a BMW X7. You're the first one I go drive one X7. And I said to you, Asia, I'm going to ask that you take care of this car. This is the only car you're going to be having. I'm going to ask you to take care of this car. And you're so careless with it that you wreck the car. This is what I believe God has done for us. He has given us options. So you can choose whether or not you want to wreck the car or you're going to take care of this car because you know that this is the first and only car that you're going to have. Or you may want to go ahead now and convert that car into something else, right? So if you say to me that they did not name dinosaurs, I can say to you that they did not name the we call it now, the different races or nations. There are many nations, many. It didn't. I remember a story as I'm speaking to you now. When people, go ahead.
But The point I'm making though is that it's evident that you have different races, but as it relates to the dinosaurs, there are none now. So there's
Very good.
skepticism about it because
Hold that
you
point.
cannot see it.
Hold that point, pause. Hold that point. We cannot see it now because of the mass extinction that took place. We know that there was a mass extinction, but we had other people here who were living with the dinosaurs, but because of the mass extinction. So what I'm saying to you now, Paz, is if we don't take care of our elephants now, and I remember some years ago, recent years, they had to remove a panda from, don't quote me, I think it was Africa, took the panda to Canada, don't quote me on it, just look up. But then they move a panda from one continent to the next. So,
yeah, man, it's real.
So that they could go ahead and reproduce, because those animals were becoming extinct. They can literally count how many of those are living now. So what they had to do was to put them, preserve them. I mean, they confine them. They make sure they get the medical checkup every day so that everything is all right. In vitro fertilization, at the right time when the female one ovulating and so forth and so on. They extract the spermatozoa from the male. They do the in vitro fertilization, and they put the mother panda at rest, so that she could go and give birth. Now, let me tell you something. I remember there was a grandiose celebration when that baby panda was born. Grandiose celebration. And then, so this is what it is that they're doing, so as to keep these animals alive. Because if we're not careful, some of these are going to become extinct. Do you know that poaching of animals in Africa is a serious thing? After a while, you're not going to find some of them. The elephants are going to grow, and we have to now be very careful, or else we're not going to see them. So, the point I'm making is, a couple of years down the line, when you and I are not around, somebody's going to ask this very same question. We saw textbooks and videos, because now we have videos. We never have them time there. We saw videos of elephants. Were they evolved from dogs, because maybe dogs are around for them time many years after this? I don't know if you see where I'm going, guys. So because we don't see it doesn't mean that it wasn't there or it didn't happen. We cannot see God, but we know that there is a God. So this is why scripture says, how can you claim that you love me, but your brother that is around you, that you can see, you're not showing any love, but you claim that you love me, somebody who you can't see? All right? So when I look at these stories and these arguments that Papa Jesus always talk about, and I mean, he spoke mainly in parables. And a parable is something that is a generalized statement that can be used, some of the parables that he spoke, all of the parables that he spoke many moons ago when the Bible was written by those men inspired by God, are applicable today. Recently I did something where we're talking about being humble persons and how important it is as somebody who believes in the faith to be humble. And I said to myself, let me go look and see where the word humble comes from. And I was so amazed. It shocked me. The word humble came from a word humilis, Humilis. And what humilis means the word humus, Hunus, is derived from humilis. Now, all of us are supposed to know what humus, because as environmentalists, we're supposed to know what humus is. That is that very important type of soil for plant growth. So I'm saying rockstone, it means sitting on the ground. That means that's where God wanted my humbleness to begin, from down there. So I mean, but hold on, when you look on food types, it all come from down there, the earth. And then I started doing a whole lot of reflection. I said, no, this is a little bit much for me. And then and this was done for the whole of last weekend. So this is not something that was done many years ago. I only had that reflection this past weekend. So I'm saying to you, I did not make that correlation between humus and humble. These so closely they spell together. I never made that connection until I decided that I'm going to go to the root word of humble. And bam, it says, come from. It's one of the words derived from it is humus. And I was like, but I know what humus is. I studied this. And when I looked at it, I was like, oh, Jesus, what is happening here? Right? So I'm saying to you, just as how, Paz, you can say, but sir, I understand and I agree with you. And, in my lifetime, I can see these many nations. I can see them. I'm saying to you, others before us could have seen these reptiles. And I'm saying to you, after us, there are others who are going to come and say, but I would have wanted to be alive to see these elephants, to see these big ears and this massive trunk that can do all of. They're going to say they don't want to see that, but they would have been extinct by them.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
A good example of that would be the Tasmanian tiger.
Talk truth.
Got extinct in the early 90s.
Talk truth.
19th century.
Yeah.
And the only evidence that it was actually around is like a 1 minute video of it in a cage walking up and down. But it existed.
Which is the point. But can you see one now?
No, you can't see one now.
Which is the point I'm making, Mikey, to Paz. So we can say, and I'm not here trying to convince you, but you see, if you're going to create an argument to me, the argument will have to add up. And maybe this is because of my also mathematical background, because there are videos out there talking about the creation story mathematically, right? Because people, and I'm saying, is it the more knowledge we get? Is the more we pull off? Because we can start thinking, no, say, you're the plan, I can do this on my own, and it comes back to the point of being humble. All right? So it just like how Mikey just talked about the Tasmanian tigers, and there are so many others. There are so many others. I mean, when you look at a thing like a cat, you may think that, and a rabbit, you may say, boy, them then are gonna, what I want to become extinct? Cockroach, mosquitoes, and rats. I can work with the lizards. Nobody else in my family can work with the lizard, but I can work with you. Well, yes, so me now go with the snake them there. So me now it not really affect me because me now go with them there. Them are oh Jesus, all them there, no man, the fly them for go on. I can't sit outside because of mosquitoes. As I sit down there, them say, hey, blood come. So I have to be spraying myself with these repellents. So when them pitch me, them say, you bugger you. And I say, you drop a ground. So as them pitch me, them drop a ground and start flat. And I say, you bugger you. But sometimes I just don't want to put these repellents on me because I know it eventually is getting into my bloodstream and I just don't want to be doing all of those stuff. So what happens? Most times I just stay inside. Like a time right now, I should be outside, under the moon, looking at my stars, looking at, my little friends that I name up there. But I decided that, so as to be very peaceful, let me come inside. So what I'm saying to you is there are so many stories. There's another video that I want us to look at, but there are so many stories out there about evolution. They're saying that, show me the evidence. Because, and this is why, because we don't have the evidence. This is why geologists are now still in the process of piecing things together, and archaeologists, they're still in the process of piecing things together, right? Because we just don't know. We weren't there many years ago, and the ones coming behind us, if we don't do documenting, and this is why it's important. Why I think National Geographic Explorer is so important. Why I think it's so important for us to have documentations of even life and death and all these things. Documentation is very important. So as a scientist, you must be able to write and leave footprints. This is why when we go to labs, we have to write up our labs. You have to leave footprints because so that at some point in time, somebody else can find the footprints to say, okay, this is what the person saw. And and why it is important now when you do research that your research is what's the word is is peer reviewed. So Mikey can't just go and write some out time head because Mikey wants to write something. Mikey can write something with Paz, with Denicia, with Kyla, with Carol, with Daniela, with Leonie, with everybody. So that now years later when I read it, I can say, well, guess what? This person see it and this person is winning. You know, look, when we look at Lemaitre, talking about the Big Bang and them something there. Remember, you have other people who were able to say yes, we support his view, but support and so on. So when you and I are reading it now, we can say yes, this did occur because there is proof. So it's important for us to document. Many years ago, we never had them sort of proof in order to document stuff, so we can talk about the existence of dinosaurs. Them time there. The question is, sir, do you believe that dinosaurs existed? And my resounding answer would be yes. Like so many other things. Absolutely. Um, Asia, I have a question for you, Asia. You ready for it?
Yes, sir.
So I I love ornamental fishes or fish. Um, Hold on a minute, please. I'm gonna be in. Hold on. Sorry about that. So I am a lover of ornamental fish. All right, and and I saw something the other day, and maybe this is what Asia was talking about. I saw something recently, and it amazed me. What did I see? So they took two different breeds of kois, and what they did, they what we call cross to, to create a species.
Sir, we're not hearing you fragmenting.
Something that All right, sorry about that. My computer just went, and funny enough, I was logged on into two devices, and I say, you know what? Let me save the battery life on the other one. Are you hearing me?
Perfect.
Oh yes,
Yes,
you're hearing
sir.
it better now.
All right, cool. So Asia. So I'm saying to you, so I saw where they did the fish, take one species and use another species and come up, with a new species, a new species. Some people may say this one was evolved, but my argument to that would be you can have an American getting married to a Jamaican, and then now the offspring will be a Jamaican, which is a new species that so this is where you can have a biracial person, coming together and you have, whatever it is. But would you call that would you call that evolution, Asia?
No, sir.
Okay, yeah. So I wouldn't either. I wouldn't. But it's just what it's just somebody would have to come to me. And I mean, I'm gonna ask you guys to go and watch other videos and then say, sir, I have proof. And then let us have a conversation, because I'm not gonna say that you are right, and I'm not gonna say that I am right. I know what I believe in, and I'm not here to convince you to believe otherwise, right? But I'm saying to you, if you are going to give me something, also be very open when I'm doing the counteraction with that. So be also when you're presenting the science to me, and if I were to open my Bible and we talk about it, don't discourage what the Bible is saying. Don't tell me that the Bible was written by men inspired by God. So you can't believe what it is, because I will go back and say to you, what man was the one who wrote about 65 million years ago that we had this sort of mass extinction that took place that wiped out the dinosaurs, support and so on, right? I'm going to say, how did you get that information? Because you weren't here either, right? So right there and then, you can't say to me, which is why I said to you, you can't believe in one thing halfway and then don't believe in the other halfway, all right? So it is what it is. Are there any questions? I have another short video for us to watch so we can have a conversation on that. Any other questions? Let's see if I can drop the link in the chat for.
Not from me at the moment, sir.
Okay. What about
Sir,
Carol and the others? Go ahead, please.
Are you Catholic?
No, I'm not Catholic. I'm Presbyterian.
Okay.
I'm Presbyterian. But in my Presbyterian church, we say the Apostles' Creed, and because Catholicism is, is just the church universal. It's because it's derived from all of you. So I don't have to be honest with you. So when I do travel, I have some members of my family that are Adventists. Some of us are Presbyterian, some of us are Anglican. So when I travel, I do go to the Anglican church. I participate in the stuff. I believe in it. I learn from them. I mean, I have friends who are Anglicans and they say, hey, may I invite you to church? And I said, not a problem. And I go, right? So church is church. Any other question? Carol and the rest of you, want to just in a class, or want to feel bad for not talk to teacher in a class?
No,
Sir.
sir. We just listen.
No, we want to learn from one to. One have no experience when I can share.
None, sir.
None. That not good. That not safe. That not safe at all. We have to get some information. No, we can't just come and just literally suck up all the information and not be able to give back to something. We have to be able to give back. I mean, I read something in the chat that said, sir, funny enough, I came across that. I can't find the video. I came across that very video that you, oh, I think I should go back and then it will come up. That very video you played in class. Oh, yes, see it here. And I was wondering, I was thinking, sir, we have to, all right, hold on. Let me see if I can just copy the link.
Sir, let's ask a quick question before you move on to that.
Go ahead, Papa.
All right. So, sir, you said that if you have two species of fish
Mm-hmm.
and they should reproduce and you get a different species,
Mm-hmm.
that is not evolution?
Hold on, you know. What are your views on that? You're saying that it's evolution. You think that it's evolution that species was evolved?
Yes, sir. In that case.
All right, sir, I'm going to say yes with an explanation.
Okay, go ahead with the explanation.
Right.
I love it.
Remember on the island when Darwin was on the island, and he was observing the finch, birds of different beaks, and he realized that on one side of the island, the birds, when they reproduce, the beaks were smaller. It's not that you were able to see a reduction in the beak while the animals were there and being adults. So from that analysis, I would say that both fishes reproducing, different species reproducing to have a new species that is better off and being able to adapt to the environment that it is in, that is a form of evolution based on that line of thinking.
Fair enough. Finish?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I'm looking at it from a perspective like grafting, where you would mix like the banana and the apple, two different group of stuff, and it becomes a different fruit, if you want to put it that way. So that's why I think it's evolution.
Okay, fair enough. Finish?
Sir?
Yes, go ahead, please. Love it. I love it. Go ahead.
No, it's not, sir. It's not that I'm not talking it, but sir, I really don't know what to say.
I mean, say something.
No, sir, because me no want to say no, like it's true from the topic, or me I said talk foolishness or something.
No, but you see, the thing about it is that I need to hear your view. Do you believe in the creationist story? You know what the creationist story is talking about? The whole creation story, right? And we know what evolution is. So I'm saying, do you believe in it? Do you believe? I mean, it's your view. You should be able to take a stance to say yes, no, because I'm now hearing from 3 people in the class to say, sir, I believe in the creation story, but I do think that some things are evolving. All right. Now, so Iman, just say something. And if you don't have the information now, after class, you can go research it, and then the next class you can come and say, sir, having listened, listened to the video and do my own research, this is going to be my suggestion. And I don't have a problem entertaining it at the other session. But let me ask a question though. And I'm not saying, Mikey, I'm not saying, Paz, that you're incorrect. Who am I to say that you're wrong? Remember, I'm saying to you that I'm having a view on a matter. So let me ask you a question now. So Mikey, you went to Tasmania, for argument's sake, to do some research. You plan to take this thing further, and you want to go do some research, and you select that aspect of that continent to go on, to go do your stuff. And then you fell in love. And it couldn't happen naturally. So technically, they will have to do some in vitro fertilization because of, whatever it is, endometriosis, for argument's sake, I don't know, but whatever it is. And it so happened that all of that happened in a petri dish, and your wife now is found to be a suitable host, and they now implant the fertilized egg in her.
Not evolution.
Why?
I know exactly where you're going.
Why
Because
not?
it's not natural. It's not natural. Evolution has to be a natural process. It cannot, if you're going to accept that as evolution, then a person changing his or her gender from male to female would be seen as evolution. However, if it's a natural occurrence where the environment itself makes that individual sterile or a, we call them now, hermaphrodite, with both genitalia non-functioning, then that is a form of evolution. It has to happen naturally. It cannot be forced.
So hold on now. So hold on. Let me get you now, because this is the sort of conversation I really want to have. I'm not saying that you're right, and I'm not saying that you're wrong. All right? It's a conversation, an intellectual conversation that we're having. So you're saying to me now that you went to Tasmania, that and whatever I just outlined, you're saying that's not evolution.
No, it's not. And it has to be isolated.
All right, hold up. So now, these two different species of fish, because they like each other, but they don't know how to copulate. And just like for the in vitro fertilization, where you have a third party who is assisting the fertilization, why then you call that evolution?
All right, sir, with both species of fish, they're in an isolated tank. Are you saying that they are unable to mate naturally?
Why is it isolated tank?
All right, they are in it because evolution happens based on the parameters of evolution. It tends to happen in isolation, where the species need to either adapt or change rapidly so that it can function or survive in that environment. So with those species of fish, if it's a case where the fishes are unable to mate naturally, then you could say, well,
it's evolution.
No, it's an assistant. It's scientifically assisted to carry out the mating function to reproduce.
So which is it? Is it creation or evolution?
In that case, it's a completely different thing. I'd more link it to creation.
Okay, which is the point I am making. So you and I are saying the same thing. But what you said a while ago when I spoke about the fish, you earlier said, "Sir, I believe it is evolution," and I'm saying, but if you talk about and this is what it is that I'm saying, Papa, and the rest of you, the conversations for me on one end, if by extrapolation, if I were to use another species in it, and you cannot definitively say yes, it means that there's a loophole in the argument, because if and then now somebody may say, but sir, let us extend it to grafting. The two plants can come together to naturally in order to do that. But guess what? You may have a bee that talk about cross-pollination, right? That you may have a new species, a combination of two or more species because of the cross-pollination to create something new. And, by extension, I just had an aha moment. By extension, why the pharmaceutical industry will never die is because there are hundreds of formulations yet to be discovered. because of the whole business of these unsaturated compounds forming isomers, forming new compounds. There are hundreds. They have not exhausted the list. So which is why new compounds can be created, because there are hundreds because of these unsaturated compounds. The saturated ones, trust me, so when it's saturated, it can't take nothing more. But these unsaturated compounds, you have hundreds of undiscovered elements, compounds that in this lifetime will never be exhausted, because I can give you a parent element, compound, and it morphs into many other compounds, but the parent is this parent, right? Is this parent. So the parent, and for example, I can say to you 2-methyl pentane. I can say 3-methyl pentane. So the mere fact that I have 2-methyl pentane, 3-methyl pentane, pentane will be the parent name. But I could also have 2,2-dimethyl pentane. And I could also have 2,3-dimethyl pentane. And I can have 2,2,3-trimethyl pentane. So the parent name pentane has many other names that I can come up with. And I can have 2-methyl pentanol, because I now have an alcohol that is being formed from it, because I'm also putting an OH group. It never ends. So think about it. I'm not going to let you right or wrong, but think about it. In my view, be it natural or unnatural, because remember, again, it comes back from the creation story that it didn't specifically say that Jamaicans, you need to copulate with a Jamaican, an American, you need to copulate with an American. All right? And if you don't do that, you can just die. Didn't say that. So when and scripture gave us some guidelines, right? So things like bestiality now is something that I don't believe in. And it speaks against those stuff, because you can say that, then sir, what if a man goes with a dog and unfortunately impregnates a dog or a cow or a donkey or so forth? And we see things like these happening, right? And it is wrong. It is wrong, right? I put something in the chat. I put something in the chat just now. Can somebody play that one for me, please? It's a short video. Can somebody play that one for me, please? By the way, Mikey, did I answer your question? Did I?
But sir, the answer part, because yes, the assumption of you having
assistance,
the assistance for the fishes, that is creation. However, if it's an isolated case where you have two different species and they eventually find a way how to copulate and produce an offspring, then in that instant that will be evolution.
Pause it for me, please. Thank you. And I would not debate that. I would not debate that at all. You know what I'm going to ask the class to do for me is, as you remember, this area of study is one where it is that you can just come to class and get the information, which is what I've been saying over and over. What I'm going to ask you to do for me is to do your research, watch more of these videos for Wednesday's class, God's willing. And then what we're going to do, we're going to come and we're going to find for me something. And I want each of you to try and do this. Try and find something that, you can convince us that was evolved. You can say, sir, we know that this was evolved, and we can speak about it. It may mean that you're going to, and I don't want you to just watch a video or get the idea from somebody and then present it as your own. You're going to critique it if it means that you're going to find a video or an article, and we are going to come to class and we're going to critique it. There are 12 of us, we can find time that each person, because I recognize, me, I watch it, Some of them in here come like, now can't talk, but never mind. So I want us to come and we can look at it, because I'm not here to say, Mikey, you're wrong. Paz, you are wrong. Asia, you're wronger. No, it's a conversation we're having, and you have to believe, in what it is that you're doing and try and, present the matter. So it is that we can have a fulsome understanding. Because who to tell? You may have to now go and defend this at some point in time. And then you must have some levels of argument. You can't say, boy, sir, so now listen. No, man. What is your contribution? So you must have a contribution. All right, press play. Let's see what this one's saying. Volume.
Creationism is the religious belief that the universe and life originated from specific acts of divine creation. For young Earth creationists, this includes a biblical literalist interpretation of the Genesis creation narrative and the rejection of the scientific theory of evolution. As the history of evolutionary thought developed from the 18th century on, various views aimed at reconciling the Abrahamic religions and Genesis with biology and other sciences developed in Western culture. Those holding that species had been created separately, such as Philip Goss in 1857, were generally called advocates of creation, but were also called creationists, as in private correspondence between Charles Darwin and his friends. As the creation-evolution controversy developed over time, the term anti-evolutionists became common. In 1929 in the United States, the term creationism first became associated with Christian fundamentalists, specifically with their rejection of human evolution and belief in a young Earth, although this usage was contested by other groups, such as Old Earth creationists and evolutionary creationists, who hold different concepts of creation, such as the acceptance of the age of the Earth and biological evolution as understood by the scientific community. Today, the American Scientific Affiliation, a prominent religious organization in the U.S., recognizes that there are different opinions among creationists on the method of creation, while acknowledging unity on the Abrahamic belief that God created the universe. Since the 1920s, literalist creationism in America has contested scientific theories, such as that of evolution, which derive from natural observations of the universe and life. Literalist creationists believe that evolution cannot adequately account for the history, diversity, and complexity of life on Earth. Fundamentalist creationists of the Christian faith usually base their belief on a literal reading of the Genesis creation narrative. Other religions either share the Genesis creation myth or have different deity-led creation myths, while different members of individual faiths vary in their acceptance of scientific findings. When scientific research produces empirical evidence and theoretical conclusions which contradict a literalist creationist interpretation of Scripture, young Earth creationists often reject the conclusions of the research or its underlying scientific theories or its methodology. This tendency has led to political and theological controversy. Pseudoscientific branches of creationism include creation science, flood geology, and intelligent design, as well as subsets of pseudoarchaeology, pseudohistory, and even pseudolinguistics. Creationists commonly reject the scientific consensus on evolution and common descent, the geological history of the Earth, the formation of the solar system, and the origin of the universe. Theistic evolution, also known as evolutionary creationism, is an attempt to reconcile religion with scientific findings on the age of the Earth and evolution. The term covers a range of views including Old Earth creationism.
All right, thank you. What did you get from that one? Nothing? Anybody, somebody?
Sir.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So basically, the presenter was speaking about creationism and its role in explaining existence. However, it contradicts most explanation, as within creationism, it speaks of a earth no older than 6,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
And evidence that is derived through science.
So just that it's older.
Oh, exactly. So that's a conflict right there.
So press pause. You understand now why I said to you that I will never say that you are wrong when you spoke, and I would never say Asia was wrong, and I'll never say Paz was wrong, because we don't know. You see, all of this is a guess. I remember my first class I had with you, the very first class I had with you, when I was talking to you about the different areas of geology, you know, and I made mention of this meteorite, you know, hitting Earth some 65 million years ago that wiped out all of the stuff. And then I said to you, oh, them not say 65 million years ago. Who did record it? And then when we looked at uniformitarianism, I think it also came up, you know, in the same 65 million years came up. So I'm saying to you, yes, they're saying that the creationists don't believe in the whole business of, you know, something catastrophic happening to the universe and it's splitting up to form these many other planets and galaxies and stars and all of these things. They believe that in God's wisdom, all of these were created one shot. And then somebody can say, then sir, explain the stretching. And then one may say, it is in God's nature for this thing to happen naturally, right? So it is a situation where we have to be very open-minded in order for you to get it. No, I would get turned off if someone says to me, I have my view and this is my view alone, but I'm not looking at another view. You notice what I'm doing? I'm looking at two different views, right? So you may ask, sir, do you believe in evolution? And I may say to you, I do. And then you may say, but sir, do you believe in creation? And I'll say, oh, I absolutely do. And then, you know, you may say, but sir, how can I believe in one and believe in the other? To each his own. So yes, Mikey, I see your point, and I see where your level of reason is coming from, and I won't say to you, you are wrong. No. So the conversation continues, Mikey. I mean, it and others. It is something that I said, as I said before, now that your appetites have been fettered somewhat, it's for you now to go on and look at it to say, boy, what is really this thing about evolution? But funny enough, some people believe that we, especially the Black race, that we came about as a result of evolution. Some racists believe that we were evolved and how we come from you know who or you know what, right? Because of the close relation, so to speak, you know. They are able to give birth and breast milk and do this to him and see the same menstrual cycle. Do you know that? Do you know that dogs also see the periods? Anybody know that?
Nope.
Yeah.
All
Yes,
mammals.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
sir,
Yeah,
it's not really their period.
There's spot.
what is it? Is what is it then?
Sir, it's heat.
Is what?
Every
It's different, sir.
It's different, but guess what? Isn't it from the same something?
Exactly.
The same natural process.
Goats, pigs, cows.
Yes, man.
Every mammals.
And I know when that came very close to me, I mean, I knew about it as a science person, but when I sat down, really, I'm not a veterinarian, but when I sat down and I really thought about it, was when one of my dogs was lying down, and then I saw what was happening thereafter. I was like, oh my goodness, she got caught. And when I took her in and investigated, I was like, oh no, you're nasty. You need to go and clean up yourself, right? And it happens everything. It never came home to me forcibly until pretty recently when I literally, witnessed something, and I was like, wow, but it is true. It's a natural progression. So why didn't I even? It just never crossed my mind. I never had time to really think about it like that. But yes, it does happen. It does happen, right? So, just like how we would take 9 months in order for us to, which is natural, they may take a couple of weeks. I was having a conversation with a family member who says that one of her friends has poodles, and as young as 6 months, 5 months, 6 months, they can start reproducing. I was like, wow, a 6 months adult or even a 6-year-old adult, 6-year-old human can't do that. So it's one of those things. It's one of those things. All right. So this is what I want you to do for me. I want you to go back and just watch some videos, put some things into perspective. Because remember, the positions that we are going to take is going to be, I don't even know if it's one of an informed one, but it's maybe an opinionated one. It could be also informed because of maybe the personal relationship you have with God. So that will be informed. And then you may also have an opinionated response, like the last video. The last video was saying that creationists don't believe in this, all of the conversations we've been having before, in terms of the universe being one little spot, and bam, you have something catastrophic happening, and bam, it splits up into many different things, and we don't know. And the final thing I'll say to you is, I did say to you that, and also showed you that how it is that we look at the different continents that at one point in time we were all connected in support of this catastrophic event that broke us apart. So if you look at even the Yucatan Peninsula, if you look in that section on the map, if you were to animate it, the Gulf of Mexico, that section there, people were saying that it was all one massive unit. And maybe because of man's disobedience and inaction to take care of the of where we live, would have caused this sort of separation, which is why I asked the question earlier, and Paz agreed with me, that we still can have islands popping up from intrusions, right? So it's just science. It continues to evolve. It continues to evolve. It's not static. It continues to evolve. So Asia, can you unmute, honey?
Yes, sir.
You understand why when you asked me who I was, I said that,
Yes, sir. I understand now.
Yeah, it's going to be, there's nothing definitive that I am going to come to class and say, oh no, this is it. I can't. Because if I were to come and say it, I'm going to present my view and my view as a Christian. But I'm coming here just to try and figure out, what is happening. And it may mean, like what Carol said, boy, sir, me can't say nothing because we never really even think about this. Know that you've presented it, sir. I'm going to do my research and then come back and can contribute to the conversation. So I want you guys to go out, look at it. Mikey, I know you're going to do it. I don't even have to ask you. I know you're going to find some videos and I know you're going to drop it in the group. And if that were to happen, if any of you find any of these videos, drop them so we can watch them. So we will come to class, no, we're not seeing the videos for the first time. We can just talk about them. So it's very important. I hope I have not confused any of you tonight, but maybe stir up some interest in you going and doing your own investigations. What say you?
Oh, yes,
Perfect.
sir. More
Perfect.
investigation.
Yeah. All right. Every blessings. We need to, what I need to do is I have started looking at your pieces. This is going to take about a minute. I started looking at your pieces. What I wanted to do, I may give you 2 pieces, all right? I think it would be best, instead of coming and giving you a test, is to give, I'm thinking about it, is to give an individual project research. And I'm not going to talk about 20 page something, you know. So when I give you things, you know, it's going to be something I want to condense it to the points. I may say in no more than 2,000, in no more than 1,500, no more than 3 pages, whatever it is. So I'm going to give you some levels of limits to the stuff. And let me tell you why. I may give you a group piece. That's what I'm thinking. That's where my inclination is going. I may give you a group piece, but I'm also going to be giving you an individual piece. The group piece, for argument's sake, may come up to 10%, just for argument's sake, and the individual piece will come up to 20%. So more is going to be on the individual piece than for the group piece, and I'm going to tell you why. Based on the first project that I gave, a group presentation I gave, where you have people who just didn't contribute none at all. And you know, I have done my investigations, and I need to break this, because when you need to be able to stand on your lonesome, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing for the group piece for this course. Pretty much giving you an opportunity to do very well. The ball is in your court whether or not you're going to pass or fail this course, right? So I'm going to be giving you. I have been thinking about it, and hopefully by Wednesday of this week, God's willing, I'll be closer to finishing. If not, I may just let this coming weekend, all being well, to just finish off so that come next week you can all have your projects to work with, both group and individual. Because I really want to give you a group, because I really believe that the strong students in the class should really help the weak ones to move on. But I also believe that the weak ones, well, everybody, not weak ones, everybody in the class has to hold their own, right? Because when you go into the exam, you depend on your own. It's not a group exam, all right? So those are where my thoughts are going. But anyhow, all the best. See you on Wednesday, all being well, at 5. All right?
All right, sir. Night.
Yeah, take care. Good night.
Nice.
Oh, sir.
Yeah, man. How do I end this though? Because since this was ended.